Hello and welcome to this week's Network After Work Q&A, Ask the Experts. Today we have Kath Pay here. She's going to go ahead and introduce herself. But first, I just wanted to let you know a little bit about how these work if you haven't been on one of them with us before. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a chat box. It says chat and it looks like a chat box. You can click that and you can ask questions at any time during this. We'll prioritize any questions that come in live. But we also had quite a few asked in advance, so we should have a really robust question section. So once again, if you'd like to put any in the chat box, we'll make sure we get to them. But other than that, Kath, we're going to let you take it away. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became the CEO of Holistic Email Marketing?
Sure, long story. So I know we haven't got much time, so I'll try and keep it really brief. I've been doing email now for over 2 decades. And started off with an ESP. I sort of fell into email, and so I created one of the original email service providers. And then I went into consulting because my heart was with the brand, the consumer, and also the marketer. So I've been doing consulting now for since 2009. And I still absolutely love it. This is what gets me out of bed in the morning. I love it so much, I actually wrote a book, and it's called Holistic Email Marketing. You can get it on Amazon. It's like won an award. It was a bestseller on Amazon. I also won the ANA EEC Email Marketing Thought Leader Award for 2021 as well. So I've been in this industry. I've helped to change it, and that's just not me saying so. That's a lot of people have said I've helped to change the industry, and so I'm passionate about email.
That's wonderful. So I went ahead and in the chat I put the link to Amazon for you, and I also put the link for your LinkedIn. So anyone who's looking to connect with Kath afterwards, LinkedIn is a great way to do so. And she's also a part of the Network After Work community, so you can message her there as well. So the first one we had come in, what are the key elements of a successful email marketing campaign, and how does each component contribute to its effectiveness?
Okay, that's amazing. So email is known for its complexity because it really is complex, but at the same time, be assured, because it's such an amazing channel, it's a push channel. You don't have to be a master at everything. It really, though, will give you better results if you are. But there are so many factors involved. So besides the obvious ones, the creative, and we can even drill down further to subject line, call to actions, and everything like this, coding, everything. You've got data, you've got personalization, you've got the actual strategy, the overarching strategy, you've got automation and triggered programs, and what I like to call life cycle marketing programs. You've got acquisition and how you actually get people on the database in the first place. You've got A/B split testing, you've got deliverability. All of these factors make up email marketing. Now, the thing is, though, I've been known to say, people tend to fall into email marketing, and so you could fall in because you're great at creative, and so you're now starting to do creative for email, but you don't know anything about data, you don't know anything about metrics, you have no knowledge about A/B testing, right? But at the end of the day, given you're on this platform, this community, there's a very good chance you are wearing lots of hats, right? So therefore, what you need to do is brush up and start learning about all the other ones so that your weaknesses then become strengths. But there are definitely tons of factors that are involved with it. Don't be put off, be excited, because they are fantastic and they will definitely help you to deliver a better email program for your customers.
Wonderful. How do you begin to build an email list if you're starting from zero? And what types of emails generate leads?
So this is, I'm going to have lots of, it depends. So B2B, LinkedIn's a great place to start, right? B2C, I'd be going for social. So start with social and try and drive understanding that social, because LinkedIn is social as well, right? So we're using social It's easy to find out these wonderful content offers and products and, you know, reels and all that kind of stuff to get their attention. But at the end of the day, they're still unknown to you until they get on your list. And email is the only channel that isn't owned, right? So it's not owned, it's owned by your business. Your particular list is owned by your business, but it's not owned by Facebook, it's not owned by LinkedIn or anything like that. So therefore the data is 100% yours. And even if LinkedIn closes down, that data is still yours. So really, really crucial to start, you know, it's a great question to start building your list ASAP so you can start to messaging them. Remember, it's a push channel. So the fact that it's a push channel means that we have the ability, we don't have to wait for them to come to us. We don't even have to wait for them to have a need. We can suggest, we can say, hey, have you thought about it? That kind of thing. So, and sending an email to me is the equivalent of opening up your door every day to walk to work. And there's a big billboard in front of you, which is changing with different brands and different messages. If you want to have a place on that billboard, you need to be sending email, because email is also not just an absolute fantastic channel for conversions, but also for nudging them as well. And so go, oh yeah, that's right. I was looking for some, oh, this is brilliant. Okay. Things like that. So yeah.
Thank you. Can you share some best practices for creating compelling subject lines that grab subscribers' attention and increase open rates?
Yes. Again, the long way of doing it is understand how people work. So things like cognitive biases, we can leverage cognitive biases. That's all in behavioral science and psychology, right? Of how we humans work. So you can be leveraging all of that. But if you don't want to get into too much detail, you haven't got the time or anything like that, a simple rule can work. It's called the curve rule. So CURVE. C for curiosity, U for urgency, R for relevance, V for value, and then E for emotion. If you can use 2 to 3 of these in a subject line, you'll have a winning subject line, because this is tapping into the people. And just try to remember to make your subject lines as customer friendly, customer centric as possible. Try and take your brand out of it. And when I say that, I don't mean don't sell your product. I'm saying don't say we have you know, a fantastic offer, right? You can access, or you know, you can gain, things like that. So just flip it around from being we, which is brand, to you, which is consumer. You're going to get their attention so much quicker, because people are, we're all very, very self-centered, right? It's all about us, particularly when we're looking at things like the inbox and we're doing that triage, we're skimming really quickly, and we're sort of going, okay, oh, I can benefit this way. That's fantastic. So think of it like that. I could literally talk for 2 hours on subject lines, but
that's how I'm looking at these questions, and I feel like all of them could be their own webinar. You know? Yeah. This person asked, are there times of day that perform? Oh, before I get into it, if anyone has any live questions, in case you joined us later, there's a chat box at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to type any live questions for Kath in there. We'll prioritize live questions. These are all questions that were submitted ahead of time on Eventbrite. So the next one is, are there times of day that perform best for email? And someone else said days of the week.
I'm going to say, this is one of the it depends ones, right? Mm-hmm. What I will say though, if you read a report and it's well distributed, and if they say Tuesday afternoons is the best time, I would avoid Tuesday afternoons.
Because everyone's doing Tuesday afternoons.
Everyone's going to read it and go, oh, we're going to send it Tuesday afternoons, and it suddenly becomes the worst. So it really, really depends on you, your product, your customers. Are you B2B? Are you B2C? All of those factors. Mm-hmm. There are some systems out there that will actually do send time optimization, and they will either do it on a person by person basis, or they might just sort of do it on a afternoon, morning basis on this particular day type thing, or the last time, you know, if they see that their regular regularly open up on a Tuesday afternoon, I might send it then. But it really is a depend factor. And yes, it can make, the send time optimization does make an incremental improvement. It's not one of the, my suite of tools that I jump to straight away as like, okay, we need to make a difference. What are we going to do? It will make a difference, but it's not one of the big ones in my books.
Could you give me an example of one of like, a hypothetical client that you would say might be a good candidate for sending like at a night or a weekend versus someone who you're thinking like might be like a, during the business day kind of morning person?
Yeah, so if you're dealing with other small business CEOs and everything, Sunday is actually probably a good time to be trying it, because they will more often than not, they tend to catch up on a little bit of work on a Sunday. You might be able to get more of their time or their attention on that. There are lots of retailers that we've gone and done timing tests with, and they work well on the weekends as well. So there used to be this, oh, we don't do it on the weekend. Why? You're B2C. Why don't you do it on the weekend? It doesn't make any sense. If you're, if your audience is, say, a marketing director for a big enterprise company, don't email them on the weekend. You stick to the weekday. But so there's a few logical ways of doing things as well. But the best thing to do is actually try it. Don't just say, whilst transparency is really, really good, and setting expectations is brilliant, try not to limit yourself and say, we are going to send out a monthly newsletter every third Tuesday of the Tuesday came up again, every third Tuesday of the month, right? Because now you are limited. Even if you were to do a test, you're limited. So just sort of let them know. You can let them know the frequency, monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, but don't necessarily limit yourself to a specific day, because that then reduces your ability to actually test to find out what is the best day for your service or product.
Wonderful, thank you. Roger, we had one coming in the webinar chat now. Roger said, do you have an email platform you like more than others? I've used several, and some seem easier than others, and well as some have better training and support.
Yeah, I agree with that. And unfortunately, I'm agnostic. So we use every platform under the sun. I think I've used the majority of them in my use. And there are ones that are definitely better than others, but then also they're different budgets too. So what I can tell you or recommend for you is choose one that's within your budget, within your current budget, understanding that your list is going to grow, you're going to be making more revenue and everything. And your strategy is probably minimal at the moment, right? Certainly if you're a small business, but you want to get a bigger brand, a bigger audience and all the rest of it. So always try and make sure you've got room to grow within it. Don't say, okay, this suits us perfectly, and then realize that, oh gee, in a year's time, we've outgrown it already. Try and give yourself at least another year or so of growth, which might mean that you're paying more, might mean that when you first go on there, you're not going to use all the features. But the wonderful thing is the features will be there for when you are ready to grow. But a quick little note on that, try and always be guided by your strategy. That means you as a marketer, understanding your audience, your buying cycle, and your business objectives, create the strategy, right? And that means learning about it, right? Rather than being guided by the tools and the features and everything within the actual system. Because often what that will do then is say, oh, okay, well, good, we can use this feature, fantastic. What shall we do with it? Well, okay, we'll do this. Sometimes you're going to do something which actually doesn't help you to grow, or doesn't help you to generate more revenue. You've gone and ticked off another list, but a tactic or something. But if it's not actually helping you to achieve your objectives, it's kind of pointless and it's a waste of time. Plus, from the consumer's perspective, it might be giving them a disjointed journey. So if you can start with the strategy, that means that everything that you're doing within the strategy is going to make sure that the consumer is getting an enhanced customer experience, a joined up experience, that it's not going to be going, why have I got that? And then I just got that as well, right? And it doesn't make sense to me. So, because that can really, really be off-putting to them. So try and be led by your strategy, not by the tools within the tech.
Well, that makes total sense. What strategies do you recommend for segmenting email lists to deliver more personalized and targeted content?
So again, depends on how advanced you are, but ideally what I would recommend is advanced segmentation. So you could be layering frequency. So you could have like a best, a better, a good segmentation, right? And then you could be putting AI on top of that as well. So it's even further enhanced with the personalization. You could be using the RFM model, so recency, frequency, monetary modeling as well to generate your segments. You could be using personas if you have personas, and you could be segmenting accordingly. There's a myriad ways of doing it. And again, it depends on how big your team is, how advanced your tech is. Do you have a data team behind you, or is it just you doing everything? Always try and do something as easy as possible for yourself, because it just means that you're more likely to consistently do it, rather than setting yourself up with a huge big goal and then not being able to achieve it. And you're feeling disappointed. Your customers are going, well, they used to send me this, but now they don't, things like this. I can tell you one way of doing a fantastic and very easy way of segmentation or form of personalization, and that's automation. So if you think about the behavioral triggers, so those browse abandonment, those cart abandonments, even just a welcome series as well. They're all forms of personalization because they're being sent to that person based upon an action that they've taken or even not taken. So it even could be your mailing your having an automation for your inactive segment as well. So start to look at that, because that, if you are a small team, yes, I understand it takes time to actually put these automations together, but they just work and they deliver the goods, and they're absolutely brilliant. And the consumers receive them, and the reason why they work so well is because of that personalization factor and the timing factor. Together, it's a great combination.
Awesome, thank you. Next, we have someone said, what is the right balance between promotional content and educational content in an email campaign?
That's a great question. So I would like to actually expand that to not just being within an email campaign, but within an email, your actual email program. So you could have that nice little balance of nudge, or what I like to call helpful email marketing, emails there. And that could be a whole, here's our latest blogs, right? Something as simple as that. Or here's what's happening, on social. And you've got some, user-generated content happening there, and that gets people engaged and they start to learn things. And then the next one could be an actual promotional one. As far as balancing it within an individual email, that's up for you to test. And whether you want to be leading with the actual helpful content and then having the sale underneath, or vice versa, again, will be up to you and your testing. So there is no direct rule of thumb, but just understand that people don't want to be sold to all the time. So what you have suggested is ideal, because even when they're not in the market for buying your product or service, the fact that you're giving them some helpful content, which is helping them, enriching their lives somehow, will keep them loyal, will keep them coming back, so that when they are in a position to be buying from you, you're the one that they're going to come to because you've been so helpful to them. So, you know, it's a great question, and kudos for you for thinking about it.
You've mentioned testing a lot. Can you provide insights into effective A/B testing strategies for email campaigns and which elements should be tested?
Okay. So
I know it's a big one too. It's a whole
it's a big
webinar.
one. It's a really big one. And it's even bigger because I've actually developed my own methodology towards it. So you'll read a lot of times when that you know, everyone's writing A/B testing ones, and they'll talk about testing different, you know, factors, elements, and they'll say don't test more than one factor, which is absolutely true to a degree, right? If you're not using a hypothesis and you're literally doing what I call an ad hoc test, you're saying, well, let's do a test today. Okay, let's test green versus red buttons. You don't want to also test the subject line as well, because that will muddy the waters and you won't know which one won. You won't know why did it deliver the best result? Was it the subject line? Was it the call to action? Or was it the combination of them? However, if you use a hypothesis, then you can use what I call the holistic testing methodology. And what that simply means is that you have decided that you want to actually find out more about your consumers. Remember I was saying to you about really understanding your consumers, what motivates them. So you could be testing something like benefits versus loss aversion. Now, when you're testing something like that, that's going to give you insights into your customers that not only can you use forever and a day, or not forever and a day, sorry, you can use within your email for a certain period until you want to test them again and see if it still holds fast, right? But you can also roll them out to other emails. You can roll them out to your website. You can roll them out to your blog. You can, because these are facts about your customers, and that's what's really exciting. And when you're testing this, you don't have to just test the subject line. You can be testing the subject line, the first paragraph, the imagery, the call to action, the landing page, because we're testing something like benefits versus loss aversion. So everything is going to be supporting. So everything in the benefit version is going to be supporting that hypothesis. Everything in the loss aversion will be doing the same. So you'll have, you know, someone feeling really sorry because of FOMO, you know, in the loss aversion one, whereas the benefit one could be someone sitting there, yay, I'm really happy. So, you know, obviously they're very extreme examples there, but you can be doing it that way. And you are more likely then to get a statistically significant result too, because you're testing more than one element. So just remember when testing, the closer they are to each other, so means the less. So if you say subject line, everyone tests subject lines, or they're most likely tested. It could be just like, oh, let's just flip a few words around and see if that, you know, gives us an uplift. We're testing about that with that. So you're not likely to get a statistically significant result. And that's a lot of the reasons why people stop testing, because they go, it doesn't actually work. Well, it does, you're just doing it wrong. So try and make them as different as possible. And then remember to also your database, and the size of the sample size of the database is really, really key. So if you've only got a small database, then you need to be doing like a 50-50 split multiple times in order to be able to get a confident result. If you've got a large database, you possibly, and you're only betting on opens and clicks, then you possibly can do the 10%, 10%, 80%. But if you're basing it on conversions, and understand that conversions take longer to happen. So they could take, depending again on your brand, on the product that they're buying, is it a considered purchase? Is it a quick purchase? Then, you know, that timing will vary. But understanding that you're probably more likely to have to do a 50-50 split test for those, so that you're going to get the conversion result.
Awesome. We have one here. What considerations should marketers keep in mind when optimizing emails for mobile?
Okay. So this used to be a huge, big topic. We've kind of worked it all out, which is great. If you can use responsive coding, then that's brilliant. And all that does, and you can select, you know, if there's any elements that need to be missed, or hey, you want this to be stacked under here, but this can be full screen. so on and so on. So you're the architect to that. If you can't, then the best thing to do is basically just do a single 1-column email. So, and then that's going to be suitable for desktop and also for mobile. The advantage though that the responsive has is that you can also be enlarging, made a new word, enlarging fonts and things like that as well. And, you know, really focusing on positioning for call to actions for our thumbs and fingers to work. But essentially, there's a more difficult one. But hey, if you've got a designer or a coder working with you, it's not that difficult. It's very, it's all been proven now, made streamlined, made very, very easy. But if you're doing it all yourself, probably best just to stick to a really simple 1-column email. It will be longer, but unlike the early days of email where we wanted to have, you know, 3 columns and lots of complexity like an old-fashioned printed newsletter, we don't necessarily want that now, and we are more likely to scroll. There's also other tactics that you can do as well to actually get them to scroll to the bottom. So, hey, we've got a secret or something like that. Put something up the top there, something that's going to lure them. Check at the bottom. Don't ever put an anchor there though, because they will skim right through and just go to the bottom. You want them to manually go through, and then they might find something that they like. And then, you know, they get to that little, you know, treasure trove down the bottom that you tempted them with at the top. And over time, by doing that, you're actually conditioning them to go through the entire email because they realize it's got great content and offers and everything. They want to do it. So.
Awesome. So with that, I had another design one, and it looks like it's probably going to be our last one just because we're running out of time a little bit. I went fast. Are there any specific design principles or tips that can help make email templates visually appealing and optimized for various devices? So kind of similar, but any design tips that you have?
Yeah. The best, I mean, I'm working on an audit with a client at the moment, multinational retailer, and they're still doing it image-based. There are limitations for just doing, you know, one big image and then slicing it up, lots and lots of limitations. The best thing to do is to actually be having that responsive template or have a master template. So a master template is something that you've got your designer and coder to create. Massive, you know, it could have, we've done ones with like 20 different modules for clients. And then what you do is you just sort of go, okay, well, I want module 2, 9, and 7 in this particular email, and you go and do that. And because they've all been designed to be on brand, to be suited for your needs and your content and your offers, they're really, really easy to populate, and they're all going to look the same, even though the format will be different for each one or for, you know, some of them. And then, you know, another one you might say, I want 7, 5, and 10, right? And because that's for your event promotion email, whereas the other one was for your newsletter or something, and you could have another one for a soulless email. So it just gives you a lot of flexibility. And all the work is done, you know, hard work is done upfront. You've got that master template. Now it's up to you to be utilizing it to get your offers and messages across in the best way possible. It also gives you a great way of actually being able to test as well. You aren't just stuck with, this is the one template and we're stuck with that until we go and pay the designer to go and create another one. It gives you the ability to test, wait on this module for this topic or this module for this offer, that kind of thing, and gives you that room to move as well and to grow and to learn.
Awesome. Well, do you know what? That took us exactly till 2:30. So you did it. You nailed it on the head. Is there anything else that you'd like to say, just to encourage people to kind of get started or take their email to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, well, you can see I've been in it. I got stuck in it. I got thrown into email at the very, very beginning back in 1998, right? And I'm still here. And you know what? I still love it. I still don't ever believe anyone when they say email's dead, email's boring, email doesn't change. That's all rubbish. It's always evolving. Do you know why it's evolving? Because consumers love it. Consumers love it, and consumers and their use of it are changing. So we, the marketer, has to change. We have to change in conjunction with how they change. So just make sure that you are staying on top of it, read as much as you can, and enjoy the journey.
Wonderful. I'm going to put your LinkedIn link in the comments again. Do you want to let everyone know how you prefer them getting in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, you can send me an email, kath@holisticemail.com, or LinkedIn. Love to connect with you on LinkedIn. Our blog, Holistic Email Marketing. So it's www.holisticemailmarketing.com. It's got a lot of insights there. So that's a really good place to start as well. If you've got any questions about anything, just shoot me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. It's always just like so informative to hear you speak. And it really, you have a way of like energizing it and making it exciting again. Like just when you're a little bit burned out on email, it kind of gets you back into it and like, all right, we're going to do this. So thank you very much.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thanks, Justine.
Have a good one.
Bye.